Hey everyone, I decided to do one last Zero to Hero for Phrecia before PoE 2 0.2 launches. This is a completely fresh SSF start where I deleted a failed experiment, I deleted the entire league, created another completely clueless character and ultimately turned it into a fun concept. I'm excited for you to meet Behemoth. Let's dive in. This time, the only preparation I did was pick an Ascendancy and make a passive tree that would get me through the campaign and into endgame. I decided on a Behemoth, I decided on two-handed axes, and I decided on physical damage. I created a loot filter for all of this, I put on cute dogs VODs and the stream to entertain me, and that's pretty much it. First, I'm taking Ground Slam and a big boy hammer. Damage isn't anything to write home about, but here at Brutus it's okay. Then we take Sunder, which we use for most of the campaign. If I upgrade my two-handed axes here and there, I should be fine, so this is a great buy. Merveil bites the dust, and here I'm doing very decent damage already, and once you put on something like Herald of Ash, you're in for a smooth leveling time, under normal circumstances. I got a lucky Corrupt for Fortify, I suppose I could have lost my weapon, but hey. Defeated the Vaal Oversoul, Dominus set up a very minimal King's March allowing me to gamble at Faustus, and those gambles pay off, especially in the campaign for weapon upgrades. Here is my first 4-link, and here is the second in the lab itself. After killing Izaro, it is time to ascend. This is a good opportunity to talk about the Behemoth, which I think is a very interesting Ascendancy. What drew me to it was primarily its simplicity, because the first mandatory node is called Rampager, which disables all spells and gives you permanent rampage as long as you hit something. Disabling all spells is clearly a massive downside. No auras, no heralds, no guard skills, no cast on death portal, no blood rage, no berserk, no focus as that's considered a spell, no banners, no auto exertion, and the list goes on. On the other hand, you're left with very little choice, and for someone like me that's not a bad thing. I'm not much of a build maker or theory crafter I feel, so limited options in a way are actually quite helpful. For my second lab I took Dire Rampart for permanent fortify. After that the gameplay looks like this, which is a lot of fun and quite tanky, with rampage going bonkers and permanent fortify. I still haven't figured out what to play though, so I'm just leveling a few random physical melee skills to try out later while jumping through Blood Aqueduct. The third lab I get Sunder of Earthbreaking, basically a faster version of Sunder, fun for a while for sure. I also ascend into Sheer Fury for permanent rage and a chance to get full rage on hit. The last lab it's Tireless Frenzy for more fortify and attack speed, which will come in handy soon. I decide to scale using these three aspects of my Ascendancy, so Rampage, Rage and Fortify. Here you see footage of early mapping, and you can tell the damage with Sunder is okay but not amazing. I am on a 4-link, I made the mistake of not yet slotting in optimal support gems, so it's a bit lackluster. This is a stage of the game where I'm really trying to figure out which skill to play and what would synergize with my Ascendancy. Some people like to theory craft that, but I like to try it out in-game, so I know for a fact what works. A little risky in SSF, but I do have a backup plan. I'm decently experienced at this point, and yeah, I'm quite confident that I can make something work. And in worst case scenario, I just create a new character, right? Like you saw at the start of the video. Here I am trying the Sunder of Earthbreaking, and in this map Rage Vortex. It dawned on me that to make the most out of my Ascendancy, I should be hitting a lot, as each hit provides rage and a rampage stack. Slow slams are not amazing, plus I really hate the Warcry thing, so a ring like Muku's Embrace with 40% increased attack speed plus a fast skill seems like a good idea. And you could argue one-handers are a good idea too because of that attack speed, but for now I'm sticking with the two-handed axes. So, fast-hitting melee skills make me think of Cyclone. I can use that in the downtime that I'm throwing out Rage Vortex, plus I can get some rage in the meantime with Cyclone. It seems like a good idea, and it works, at least the concept does. I don't do much damage here, but the idea is there. And most importantly, I think the combination of Rage, Rampage, Fortify and Spin-2-Win is a lot of fun, despite me not doing that much damage. I do enough damage to kill Katarina, for example. It's not horrible, it's not great. All of this is still on a 4-link. So while all of this is going on, I'm trying to figure out some information on how to build around Rage Vortex, because while I like the skill, throwing it out feels a bit clunky. This is the point where I realized there is a transfigured version, Rage Vortex of Berserking, that doesn't get thrown out but sticks to your character and consumes more and more rage until it runs out. I watched videos from Methil and SepK about it, realized Methil's one is hopelessly outdated, but a good showcase nonetheless of the potential. I do a quick lab to get the actual transfigured version, and this is where the true build is born. I want to do a small segment on this skill. What's interesting about it is that first, it follows your character, so it's very much like Righteous Fire. Second, if you have 10 rage, it creates a rage storm like the regular version that consumes more and more rage every second. My build sustained rage quite well, as I can get full rage on hit. Third, it snapshots, meaning that if you Warcry and exert an attack, this lasts for the whole duration of the Rage Storm. Intimidating Cry doubles the Rage Storm's damage, and something like Ambush works too, but I'm still using two-handers, so I can't use Ambush. The wiki doesn't mention it, but I think flasks apply during the effect so they don't get snapshotted. It scales with AoE, attack range, attack speed and of course weapon damage. In terms of supporting this skill, I think there are plenty of options, but I kept it fairly simple with physical damage support gems, area and impale. Now that we have our build idea at around level 86 or so, I think, and I've done all the regular steps to improve it, such as a 5-link chest, kill the black star and the other guy, progress through the maps, I find a 6th link actually from an incubator, kill some pinnacle bosses, that sort of thing. Now I'm also thinking how to progress the build further. Roughly, I'm seeing a few options that I wanted to share. Either I stick with the two-handed axe physical damage approach, which primarily means I need a better physical damage weapon, plus perhaps another skill to complement Rage Storm that isn't Cyclone but something more single target focused for bosses. That would be nice. I find it quite difficult so far to craft a good weapon, however, so I keep gambling instead, without much success. I don't have much experience with crafting physical damage weapons. Another option is to move away from physical and go elemental Rage Vortex instead, either full fire or just triple elemental. It seems weapons for that are a lot easier to craft and to gamble. I have quite a few of those, but around this part of the tree there isn't much support for elemental skills, which I think is a downside. If I had a weapon that helps me convert, such as Ngamahu's Flame, it could be quite an interesting interaction. I might farm up the div cards just to try it out. Comb's Primacy would also get me 70% additional fire damage, as I have 70 rage. I think that could also be an interesting option. The third option is to stick with physical but go one-handers and a shield. Much tankier for sure, and perhaps due to attack speed and crit you're not even losing out on that much damage. Similarly, dual wielding is an option too. I haven't decided, but I did make a few trees in the PoB to compare. It will also depend on what I find in solo self-found and what I'm willing to farm. That being said, let's look at the current character, which is still physical two-handed axes in Path of Building. I am a level 92 Behemoth with Rage Vortex of Berserking as the main skill. It's linked to close combat support, melee fizz, impale, as I think that is a good idea, although I'm not sure, I had it from PoE Ninja, pulverize and brutality. Cyclone is on a 5-link, being a bit of a mix between support and damage. It's linked to pulverize, melee fizz, impale, which is likely redundant here, and power charge on crit, so I can get 3 power charges. I am probably better off trying to get a decent single target skill in that 5-link, but I'm not sure what to pick. I'm open to suggestions that don't involve spells. The only other skills are 2 Warcries linked to urgent orders and more duration, plus my movement skill Leap Slam, which also has Culling Strike on it. I could put the Cyclone into the gloves and get a Nagamahu's, for example, or just completely something else. Again, I'm open to suggestions. Gear itself is nothing to write home about. Flasks still aren't automated, should be fixed in the next episode if there is one. You can find it all in the Path of Building, which provides an overview of the character, but I haven't made any efforts to calculate the DPS properly. It clears tier 16 nicely, but struggles a bit with tier 16 map bosses as single target damage just isn't great. That's the DPS. For the passive tree, I focused on Rage and Fortify to skill those values further. I have 36 Fortify, for example, translating into 36% attack speed. And I have 70 Rage, which is 70% more attack damage, plus 14% increased movement speed, plus 70% increased armor. I took Blood Magic, as I don't have any auras anyway, meaning it's basically free life, and spending life instead of mana is great quality of life. I have some Leech, a lot of Axe nodes, Unwavering stance, so I can't be stunned. I'm full armor, I have 5 endurance charges, some max res, and that's mostly it. Depending a bit on how PoE 2 news is picking up, I will either finish this character and make one final video about it, or start focusing on PoE 2 SSF content, such as a league starter or an SSF perspective on the patch notes. Either way, I hope you had a good time watching this episode. Let me know what you think. Also let me know if you have any suggestions or if I made any errors. Subscribe and like for more PoE SSF content. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.